My name is H.A. Goodman. I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read my writing and to see my latest CNN appearances and my MSNBC appearances, you can go to hagoodman.com. Julian Assange on CNN with Anderson Cooper stated the following, quote, "We have more material related to the Hillary Clinton campaign," Assange told CNN's Anderson Cooper on Anderson 360 Friday night. That is correct to say that. So he has... We have more, quote, "We have more material related to the Hillary Clinton campaign. He is going to come out with more material. WikiLeaks and Julian Assange are going to show the American public even more reasons to believe that Hillary Clinton is not honest and trustworthy." Why? Because she stole the election from Bernie Sanders. Now, there are very powerful people in the media, very influential people in the media and politics saying that, well, you should just fall in line and you should just fear Donald Trump. Do not fall in line behind somebody who stole an election. Imagine, so Hillary Clinton, even before Julian Assange and WikiLeaks came out with the DNC emails, Hillary Clinton barely escaped FBI criminal indictments. The FBI's James Comey said she was, quote, "negligent and extremely careless with the handling of classified information while she was Secretary of State, that she should have known she would be receiving this information, that any other person in her position would have faced extreme consequences, that he couldn't find intent. James Comey could not find intent. That is a big problem because apparently Hillary Clinton doesn't intentionally do anything. She literally thought, according to Comey, she was so stupid that she thought that owning a server was just going to be convenient, a private server outside U.S. government networks. It was not convenient for her or the country, and it put information at risk. This is what James Comey stated, okay? And she used an NSA, BlackBerry, the NSA said she couldn't use. But that's before the DNC emails. So in terms of Trump, I don't want Trump in the White House, but he did not have a year-long FBI criminal investigation, okay? There used to be a time in American history where an FBI criminal investigation would sink any campaign. Now it's business as usual, unfortunately. The DNC emails show that Bernie Sanders was cheated. Now, whether Bernie's playing ball with the DNC, fine, or the Democratic Party, he does not want to be known as the person who gave the election to Trump. I understand that. And he could have torn the whole DNC, the whole Democratic Party down. He didn't want to do that. I respect him for that. But you cannot fall in line, or at least this is my humble opinion. You can't fall in line behind somebody who already not just escaped FBI criminal indictments, okay, which anyone else would have received. But you can't fall in line behind a person who openly cheated. We know now that, I mean, there are many examples, but Julian Assange actually brought up the fact that Louis Miranda of the DNC, one of the top DNC officials, there's a Gawker article that he referenced. He didn't reference the actual Gawker article, but he referenced the fact that a DNC official pushed the narrative that there was violence in Nevada. There was no violence in Nevada. Somebody picked up a chair, never threw it. People were angry and yelling. That's not violence. There was a row of police officers just standing there not doing anything. You know that famous photo. DNC, this is a Gawker article. DNC communications director ordered anti-Sanders article be shared without attribution. On Friday, this is from a couple weeks back. On Friday, WikiLeaks published an email exchange between Western Regional Communications Director for the Democratic Party, Walter Garcia, and DNC Communications Director Louis Miranda, in which Miranda requests an article critical of Bernie Sanders be covertly shared without attribution to the DNC. I'll put the Gawker article below. The article by Nevada political reporter John Ralston pushed a narrative that Bernie Sanders supporters were becoming violent and out of control, and that Sanders was partly responsible. The article was published on May 17th, one day after the New York Times reported that Sanders supporters threw chairs at Nevada Democratic Party convention and threatened the convention chairwoman. Okay, that was all baloney. That never happened. None of that stuff happened. People were upset. Nobody threw a chair and there wasn't violence. That narrative painted millions and millions of Bernie supporters as these violent extremist wackos. Okay, this is the type of person who wants you to fall in line behind her. This is the type of Democratic Party. They've overtly controlled the media. So portions of the media, and you can look, it's not just the story of the violence narrative, painting Bernie supporters as violent. There was, okay, so heavy.com, DNC party with the Washington Post. Was it a joint fundraiser? There's one email there's one WikiLeaks email alongside Politico. Let's just write that down, find that. Politico reporter agrees to let DNC review article about Hillary fundraising before publishing. When you have writers or when you have publications allowing the DNC to review what the writer is going to publish, there's a problem. When you have the Washington Post and the DNC attending some type of joint fundraising function, if I'm reading that correctly from heavy.com, that's a problem. When you have the DNC pushing a narrative that Bernie Sanders supporters are violent, that's a problem. That's a problem for democracy. I don't fear Trump as much as I fear Hillary Clinton, because at least Trump won his nomination in a more democratic manner. Okay, he pandered to the xenophobic base of the Republican Party, and he won. That's because Republicans reward politicians who represent or espouse their value system. Bernie Sanders was shunned by a DNC and Democratic Party and Hillary supporters who are said to be progressive, who can't believe that that Donald Trump would write these awful tweets. We are a nation more outraged at tweets than the fact a couple weeks back we accidentally killed over 80 civilians in an airstrike against ISIS. No outrage for that. Throughout the nation, unfortunately, no outrage. Isn't that absurd? Isn't that insane? But a tweet from Trump, or when Trump says we have to commit war crimes, we're unfortunately already committing them now. Maybe not on purpose, but they're taking place. Hillary Clinton wants to increase, and now this is the second issue. In addition to the cheating and the fact that she stole the election from Bernie Sanders, and now these media personalities say, well, fall in line because, he doesn't believe in climate change. These are issues that have to be addressed by Congress. Congress does not do its job. The president, when you look at the authorization for use of military force, the president can unilaterally wage war. You do not want Hillary Clinton. She is more militant than Trump. Now, I'm voting for Dr. Jill Stein, okay? Dr. Jill Stein and the Green Party, you grow that, put the platform below. But this segment is about DNC cheating, more WikiLeaks emails coming out. But I'm going to read you really quickly. I'm going to wrap this up. The Intercept. Robert Kagan and other neocons are backing Hillary Clinton. In addition to the fact that she stole the election from Bernie, you do not want the same people who advised Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld and Bush to be advising a Democrat in office. This is why when Bill Maher or when the average Democratic politician or when somebody tells you got to fall in line because Trump is so scary and evil, neoconservatives don't like Donald Trump because he's not as militant. He will not confront Russia in the manner, or he will not send troops abroad. He might be militant, Trump. He's a Republican. The reason you don't want Clinton is because she merges the Republican Party and the Democratic Party into one on war and foreign policy. If you don't care about war and foreign policy, you're most likely the average Democrat voting for Hillary Clinton. The president, a United States president, can't stop mass shootings. We've seen with President Obama. Can't stop mass shootings. You can't prevent the racial divide that's going on. You can't prevent, unfortunately, the police brutality and the fact that black citizens are being targeted or killed by police officers, unarmed black citizens. President Obama has been powerless to stop that. Congress and state legislatures have to address those issues. But the president, like President Obama, can wage unilateral war. We have more Americans. Obama sent Americans to Iraq, to Syria, to Afghanistan. Hillary Clinton would send more Americans. She is advised by neoconservatives. As Hillary Clinton puts, and I'll read you the Intercept article, as Hillary Clinton puts together what she hopes will be a winning coalition in November, many progressives remain wary, but she has the war hawks firmly behind her. Quote, I would say all Republican foreign policy professionals are anti-Trump. That alone, this is leading conservative Robert Kagan told a group gathered around him, groupie style, at a foreign policy professionals for Hillary fundraiser I attended last week. I would say that a majority of people in my circle will vote for Hillary. When Robert Kagan, who is a neoconservative, is saying that the majority of people who are also, probably neoconservatives or push that foreign policy are voting for Hillary Clinton, all progressives and all Democrats who hate Bush should be very afraid. And this is a fantastic article by Rania Khalek of The Intercept. As the co-founder of the neoconservative think tank Project for the New American Century, Kagan played a leading role in pushing for America's unilateral invasion of Iraq and insisted for years afterward that it had turned out great. Have you ever heard Hillary Clinton say Iraq was a debacle? That Iraq it was the root cause of all of these issues, the fact that there's a Sunni and Shia civil war still raging in Iraq and throughout the Middle East? When we took out Saddam, the Sunni versus Shia civil war throughout Iraq and throughout the Middle East took on, unfortunately, a life of its own. These are the root causes of ISIS and all the issues, and a lot of the issues we face within the Middle East right now. The regional rivalry between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And there's a whole lot of issues pertaining to the Iraq war and what the Iraq war caused. The hundreds of thousands of civilians who were killed because of this neoconservative foreign policy. It did not bring democracy. It brought bloodshed, chaos. We have more terrorism. Terrorism has increased 5-fold since 9/11. Hillary Clinton would push this, would intensify the fight against ISIS. She said that in a speech to the Council on Foreign Relations. But I'll go on and say, and read this article. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump's know-nothing isolationism has led many neocons to flee the Republican ticket, and some, like Kagan, are actively helping Clinton, whose hawkishness in many ways resembles their own. I'm not a fan of Trump, but if he falls into a less aggressive militant stance, and he's an isolationist to an extent in terms of foreign policy, and he's not going to provoke another Cold War with Russia, and he's not going to send more Americans back to the Middle East, like Hillary Clinton would, and he is not backed by neoconservatives, and because of that isolationism, he's against the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which no doubt Hillary Clinton will push for. I fear Trump less. I'm not a big fan of Trump. I'm not a fan at all of Trump. I think he's a buffoon, but I fear him less than Hillary Clinton, who's supposed to be the adult in the room, who is now being advised by Henry Kissinger, and as the Intercept article states, neoconservatives. You're talking about a cheater who's advised by neoconservatives who will push for more war. This is not hyperbole. If anything, it's understated. So do not fear Trump. Fear the prospect of a militant, hawkish Democrat who cheated Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders would have won easily over Trump. In an average of polls now, Clinton is now up 1.1. Big deal. Big deal. She's now up 1.1. Her post-convention bump is taking place now. She doesn't keep polling leads, so even if she goes up by 3 or 4 or 5, we will know also if Donald Trump is a plant, because all he has to do is shut his big, fat, stupid mouth and pretend to be normal, not be so offensive. So the only way that a cheater, militant war hawk like Clinton could ever become president after the election was rigged in her favor, and the DNC overtly or covertly through the emails stole the election from Bernie. The only way that Clinton could win is with a loudmouth like Trump. Trump has to calm down. If he just pretends to be normal, he wins. And then we have 8 years of Jill Stein or Nina Turner or a Democrat afterwards. 4 years of Trump, 8 years of a Democrat. 4 years of Clinton. You're going to have 8 years of Cruz or some kind of establishment, maybe a Rubio type. Who knows? But there's going to be a Republican there for 8 years after 4 years of Clinton. It's been a debacle. DNC hack, Clinton Foundation hack, her private server was hacked. There are so many issues with Hillary Clinton and cybersecurity, and Hillary Clinton and perjury, and Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation. Clinton Foundation was hacked. So the point is, think. You could have 4 years of a Democrat like Hillary Clinton who would merge Republicans and Democrats into one on a foreign policy and have continual controversy and scandal. Then you'd have 8 years. And the Supreme Court argument is even stronger 8 years from now, 12 years from now. So you would have 8 years of a Republican after 4 years of Clinton. She barely beats Trump now. And there's been constant controversy and scandal. The prospect of re-election after 4 years of a Clinton presidency, a Hillary Clinton presidency, full of scandal and controversy, you're looking at 8 years of Republican. So think long term. Don't just fear Trump, even though Trump is less hawkish and militant. Thank you so much for listening to my amazing subscribers. I look forward to your thoughts below. Thank you.